guys, Nate Gray with Renovation and Premier Property Management. I've got Mark Anderson with me today. We're going to be discussing how renovations affect property management and the long-term rentability of a property. So stick with us, we got a lot to dig in. All right, Mark, we've had a lot of viewers asking us on a frequent basis, how do renovations affect property management long-term? Obviously, you and I know the answer to that question. It's something we deal with on a daily basis. But tell us, Mark, what do you think, and really what does the company think, and what is their stance on how renovations affect how quickly a home rents?
Excellent question, Nate. There's a lot there. And so first, let's talk about it from the perspective of the buyer of that house. One of the main things the buyer is looking for is no deferred maintenance. They want everything taken care of on the front end so that they can have a property that doesn't have a lot of maintenance calls eating into that cash flow. The reality is the resident wants the same thing. They want to move into a house that's move-in ready, everything works, it's functionally perfect. They don't have to call our property management line with reporting maintenance issues when they move in. So the reality is there's a lot of alignment there between what the resident wants and what the investor wants. So some of the things that we really focus on are the big ticket items, the roofing, the HVAC, the plumbing, all of the kind of the behind the scenes stuff that really makes a property function well. So Nate, let me ask you a very similar question. Well, we talked about some of the things that we focus on the front end, but how does that impact the property's ability to get leased quickly?
Yeah, I mean, most importantly for the leasing team and on the rental side of things, prospects and folks that are interested in renting our properties are mainly interested in a few things. And Mark, you say it to your rehab team very often. One of the things you ask your guys:
does it look good? Does it smell good? How's the curb appeal?
Exactly. So, I mean, most importantly is curb appeal. We start outside from the property coming in. When you drive by, that first impression means everything. You want to have the yard looking spick and span, top shelf, and then also on the inside, the main thing that you want to do is have the property spotless. You want to have it clean. So it's very important to have the interior of the property clean, smelling good, looking good. And then most importantly is just having a good quality, nice, clean, move-in ready property. So that's the focus of our team. Nothing way beyond that, nothing below that. We have high standards that we keep, and that's the reputation that we hold throughout the markets that we're in. All right, we've had some people wonder which rehab decisions, if any, would reduce maintenance over time. So, Mark, if there's something that you're looking at doing at a renovation, is it centered on the actual point and focus of actually reducing long-term maintenance costs? Can you talk about that or answer a few questions?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that we want is for the resident to move in and have no maintenance. We do not want them to have to call us for anything. The main thing, though, that when they have to call us is plumbing related. That's our number one type of maintenance call. So we test everything in that house. We're running all the water. We're testing the drains. We're putting in new faucets, a lot of times a new water heater or something like that. But again, we know the areas that they're calling us for, and we're trying to do everything we can with our quality control checks, the home inspection process, all of that to eliminate any issues when the resident moves in. Next thing that we're looking at is HVAC, testing all that, making sure the heat works properly, making sure the air works properly, good airflow out of all the ductwork, etc. So that, again, they don't have to call us with any issues.
So if I can add in there, there's only so much that we can do. We can look for and test all of these things, but we're not living in the property. We're not washing 2 loads of laundry. We're not taking 5 showers every morning. So we're not actually living in the property. So we know that things can happen, but like Mark said, our main goal is to test and test and test and make sure that there's not going to be any issues to the best of our ability. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball and we can't tell what the future may hold, and stuff does happen. But obviously, it's our main goal to try to prevent those issues in the first place. All right, so we've had some viewers ask a pretty probably common question. If I upgrade and put in, trendy, higher end finishes, things that are popular out there amongst retail sales, you've seen it, fancy colors, different paint colors, different sinks and shower heads and all this stuff. Do we recommend putting in some type of higher finishes, either to get a higher rent or just a bigger bang for the buck return on our investment? What do you think about that question?
Yeah, in most cases, the answer is no. We want to keep everything consistent from house to house. The reality is you're probably going to own this thing for 10, 15, 20 years. So if you're doing something that's trendy, 5, 10 years down the road, it's not going to be trendy anymore. So we'd like to keep things consistent. And the reality is we've already talked about some of the things that the future residents are looking for. Curb appeal, cleanliness, everything works. That's much more important than having the latest, greatest paint color or the most up-to-date countertop that's all over TV right now. So again, we don't see those things as paying off. You're spending extra money on that rehab and you're not really getting anything extra in return. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and on the rental side, I'll kind of echo what he said. You know, it's not like what you see in TV. You're exactly right. All these TV shows that show all the high-end, trendy finishes. The main thing that we want to do is, and I mentioned this earlier, is provide a clean, safe, move-in ready property. Trends end quickly. We've seen that. We go with pretty neutral colors, pretty cookie-cutter process across the board to where we're providing a consistent product in all of our markets. And we had one time we had a interior designer as a client, and she wanted to go overboard, and we had to literally slow her down and talk to her about this exact reason and process and why we do the way we do it. So again, just a nice, clean, move-in ready property. That's what the prospects are looking for. The trendy stuff is not required. All right, Mark. Now we got to give the viewers what they want. This is a quick little game we like to play. It's rapid fire. It's called spend or save. We're going to go through some questions on what topics might we maybe explore that would, in your opinion, be a spend it, do it, or save it, don't do it. So rapid fire coming your way. All right, so our first rapid fire topic is flooring. Mark, spend or save?
Well, you're going to spend on the front end to put the flooring in, and we're usually doing carpet in the bedrooms and then vinyl plank in the rest of the house. But after that, the goal is to save it. As these residents live in the house, hopefully when they move out, you can save that flooring, clean the carpet, maybe replace 1 or 2 lifted planks or something minor like that. But the goal is to save it for as long as you can. All right, Nate, your turn.
Okay.
Spend or save appliances.
Ooh, appliances. This one's tricky. And many, many years ago, as you know, Mark, we kind of nixed doing appliances. We got away from doing appliances because one of the biggest and most frequent issues with appliances is it's going to lead to maintenance calls. So, you know, the back left eye on my stove isn't working, the knob broke off, you name it, we've heard it. So we nixed doing appliances pretty much across the board. The main appliance that we will supply is a dishwasher that's built in a location in the kitchen where there is an insert for it. Anything else is case by case. We will sometimes do appliances as leasing and rental incentives if that's going to be a deal breaker for somebody, if that's one of the main things that's going to push them over the edge to actually rent the property. We'll work on an appliance credit. We may even work on supplying a random appliance, but 9 times out of 10 we stay away from appliances. We learned that lesson the hard way for sure. So, all right, Mark, next question that the viewers had is going to be about curb appeal, exterior curb appeal, exterior landscaping, things of that nature. I know this is right up your alley and something that you preach to your team on a consistent basis. So spend or save?
Spend all day long. So for us, curb appeal is extremely important. It's the first thing you notice when you pull up to that house. And if it doesn't look right, no one's actually going to go into the house to see if they want to rent it. They're just immediately going to keep going, keep driving, go to the next one. So cutting the grass, edging, getting the leaves up, new bushes or something in the flower bed, fresh mulch, trees trimmed, the fence lines cleaned. It just has to look right from the street. Spend that money on curb appeal.
You heard it here first. Yeah. All right, Mark, one more spend or save question. We're going to talk about fixtures. Kind of mentioned some of this earlier, but I'm talking about light fixtures, bathroom, plumbing fixtures, things of that nature. Is this an area that you would recommend that we spend or save on in our properties?
How about this? Spend wisely. So what I mean by that is you should probably spend that money to do it, but use that money wisely. I think we already talked about, not going overboard with trendy stuff or whatever. Spend the money to do it so that you have a nice, sturdy, long-lasting fixture that's new and clean, and the resident's going to like that. And then if you do end up having to do something with it later on down the road, it's not a big expense to repair it or replace it or something like that.
The name of the game, from what it sounds like, is longevity and durability. So those are the main things that we focus on for the long-term investment.
You got it, Nate.
All right, at the end of the day, we have discussed that renovations doesn't only affect the way that a home looks, it also affects the way that it performs.
And we're trying to balance quality with the budget. And if you're interested in finding out more, visit our webpage at reination.com, click on the Get Started page, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.